Martinez, the senior setter from San Antonio, Texas, does the honors. Lily Nicholson on the run, sets Henke. And a back bump by Martinez to DePino, rolls in and out. Point to Florida State off the attack error from the Georgia State opposite.
It looked like DePino just took a little bit off of it there, maybe trying to grab some high hands, some fingertips, but didn't get that full swing, that full range on the ball.
1-0 Florida State. Nice pass there, out to the pin it goes. DePino on the left in this rotation. Peyton Whalen caught the edge of the block, that's still up, and a free ball to Florida State. Back to Whalen. And an out-of-system ball. Cleaned up at the net by Milena Torchetti.
It was a good up by the Seminoles libero. You almost want to see Peyton Whalen. It was a one-on-one situation. The block wasn't closed. You almost want to see her take a big rip on that ball. But she is still young, and that comes with experience.
Nasla Guvner back to serve. And there in the middle for Florida State, a transfer into the program is Delaney Ewing.
Ewing's coming off of 5 kills. She hit over 400, so she didn't get set a whole lot, but when she did, she was extremely efficient with the ball.
And it always felt like whenever she recorded a kill or a block in that match, it was when it was tight and late in the set.
Very true.
Mio Yamamoto, the senior from Japan who played her college volley at Louisiana before coming to Tallahassee, serves, and that is an antenna fault out at the pin. Alessia Kapai called for the attack error. 3-1 Seminoles early in set 1. Yamamoto serves once more. DePino had the error to start, makes up for it with the kill. She has been nicely efficient over on the right side of the net, Madison, hitting around 290 coming into this match.
Yeah, that's pretty good. She's a grad transfer from Lynn University. She's come in, made a really big impact. You see how high she gets up. She contacts that ball at a super high point.
1 point first set, and that got snuck right inside the block, so it's going to be a kill for Janne Henke.
It's hard to block Janne Henke because she has such a powerful swing. She's got a really heavy arm, so as a blocker, if you're not up and pressed over the net, if you're fading away at all, she's going to abuse the block.
Blocking can be such a tough thing, right? You can get the read right, you can get the timing right, but if you don't seal the block, you still end up with the ball on your side of the net.
There's like 15 different things that you have to get right at the right time to make a successful block. It's not as easy as it looks.
Unfortunately there for Chanel Martinez, she tried to take it over on 2 and took it straight into the tape. That'll send Nellie Stevenson back to serve. One of FSU's 2 transfer setters. Only 5 returners on this FSU roster. Stevenson came in from Montana State. Off speed by Henke. And the kill will go to DePino. Both of those attackers went up in that joust, and she swatted it right off of Henke's hands.
And that was a really smart shot by DePino, knowing that that blocker is up there, knowing that she can use her hands, so just power tipping it off of it. You have to have a lot of control over your body and the trajectory of the ball to pull that off.
So 2 kills on 4 swings for Maria Cecilia. Panthers trailing by 2. It'll be Emily Harden back to serve. Player who is a freshman for the Panthers, but in high school is ranked top 15 in the country in aces.
It's a beautiful swing by the freshman who's really come in and burst onto the scene. She loves that gap set. They run it a lot with her, and what that does is it gets the block moving. You see Georgia State middle blocker not fronting her, not able to get any hands in front of the attacker.
Anuka Pia had a terrific match against Auburn. North of 10 kills, got her hands in on a couple handfuls of blocks. Lexi Mason had 3 kills herself yesterday. And that FSU block was problematic for Auburn. It's causing problems for the Panthers as well.
And it was a big problem because the coverage. That's something that you have to emphasize if you're Georgia State. The block is big and the block.
Nice pass. Positive block touch for the Panthers. Great defense by the Panthers. And you gotta play that ball.
That's exactly how you want your team to come out from a timeout. Down by a little bit, down by 4, coming out with a lot of fire. I love the scrappiness. It started off with a good pass, but such amazing ups, not giving up on the ball. Nice layout. Middle coming back to pass that ball up and keep the play alive.
Nice ball there by Philly Mao. There's a pancake. Well, you're seeing that defensive intensity early from both of these teams. It's an attack error and a point to Florida State.
Once again, trying to go high hands, which is something that you're going to want to do against a big block. That set, you got to get creative with your attack. It is earlier on in the match, so errors are more common as you're warming up.
Kaylin Russ checks in to serve. Was rock solid for the Noles off serve receive yesterday. Attack error yet again. That has been the problem early on for Georgia State. They've shown a lot of grit defensively, but you're only going to go so far when you're hitting a negative. Russ, the sophomore from Winter Garden, Florida, will serve once more. Good first ball and reversing the flow to Akira Burt. It's a good looking swing by Burt.
Akira Burt has got some hop. She's only 5'10", but she's extremely athletic. Watch her approach and the high contact of the ball. Middle blocker a little late to close there, and Burt took advantage.
Stevenson tries to run the middle with Ewing. Another look for Burt off the right. And Burt caught a piece of that ball that Florida State turned away. Might have gone out of play off the block had she not have grazed it herself.
Take a look at the ups, though, skying into the air. And all the credit to Kylie Filamawa, who is so athletic, a utility player for the Florida State Seminoles. With all of her athleticism, she's got a lot of hang time.
Another look for Burt. There's the adjustment. That big old Florida State block was tricky for her to navigate. That's a good decision, rolling it over the top.
And I can't express enough how difficult it is to tack a ball from the right side with your libero who's setting you directly behind you. So you don't have eyes on the setter as she's setting you. The set was a little off, so that was a very crafty shot for Georgia State.
Both of these teams will run a 6-2 offense. Setter always in the back row. Chanel Martinez was serving as one of those two setters for Georgia State. Peyton Whalen going off speed for her first kill.
And why it's so important to have the versatility in your offense. If you're banging the ball away, the block is going to get comfortable. The defense is going to get comfortable digging you. So you have to be versatile. Throw in some off speed, throw in some tips to keep them on their toes.
Nice athletic set out to the right side into Pino. Whalen takes a crack from the right side as well. Joust at the net. Henke pulls it out. Ball got knocked right back to Ewing, and then she swung at it and knocked it out of play herself.
And that was Melina Torchetti. Beautiful hang time, tracking the ball really well. As a middle blocker, you have to be so aware of where the ball is at all times. So really good eye sequence by her to put the ball away.
That'll be the first block of the match for Georgia State and Yane Henke. Madison, you mentioned the range. That is such a sharp angle 4-4.
It really is. You got to come in nice and sharp and then thumb down. And in order to hit that shallow on the court, you have to get on top of it really well. So she does a good job at getting on top of it with a nice strong snap. That's very difficult to dig.
Second kill on 4 swings for Henke. No errors as Yamamoto goes back to serve. Back bump to Torchetti, and that was straight into the net.
Something I noticed from yesterday's matchup is Yamamoto, the libero for Florida State, she goes on a lot of service runs. Her serve gets a lot of serve receipts in trouble, and this is a really good rotation for Florida State with Henke in the front row.
Nice swing out at the pin. Alessia Capai, the senior from Genoa, Italy.
It's a beautiful swing by Kapai, and I always say you have to win the serve and pass game. That was a great pass by Georgia State's libero, Lazarin, to keep them in system and allow them to run their full offense.
Nicholson reverses the flow to Peyton Whalen off the right. That's 2 kills for Peyton Whalen.
Peyton Whalen being nice and aggressive. The block was there, but she takes a big rip on it. Good follow through as well to tool the block. Florida State is looking like they're in a much better rhythm to start off the match than they were yesterday.
Whalen, a freshman, who had a handful of kills yesterday, a career high. Already with 2 on her first 5 swings here today. Panthers are trying to run the back row off speed. And there's a stuff block for Georgia State.
DePino is only 5'11". Their front line, their front row is a little bit more undersized, so it really helps that they're all athletic, very disciplined block. Watch how the middle blocker moves very quickly side to side. That's Rain Williams. Super athletic middle to get there and close.
Rain Williams, the freshman from Snellville, Georgia, 5'9" as a middle. And the new Kapia, she's also a middle. She is not 5'9", but she is looking awfully impressive this weekend.
And against Auburn, she had 11 kills, hit 429. That is some really good efficiency, and she really came up big for them.
Down the line, no call yet. It's going to go to Florida State. Kapai thought maybe she grabbed a hand. No challenge by Georgia State.
Georgia State still hitting in the negative, hitting negative -080 right now. Just a couple, too many errors.
Tough serve there by Henke. Burt goes off speed over the top of the block. Henke herself will attack from the back. Free ball here to Georgia State. Kapai, dug by Henke. Rain Williams, it doesn't matter how tall you are if you've got IQ, and she knew exactly what to do with that ball, wiped it right off the top of the block.
And coming into this matchup, get this, Rain Williams only has 19 kills, so she's coming in to make an immediate impact with not a ton of stats to back it up coming into this match.
Most impressively to me about Rain Williams, she comes in averaging a block and a third a set. Free ball to Florida State. Kapia off the top of the block. Off the pick, there's Henke. And Governor airs long. It's another attack error.
The defense for Georgia State's looking really good. Lazarin had a nasty one-arm dig. Look at that, popping it up. The ball control that she has is insane. She's got the stats to back it up too. Incredible season for her so far, but it's been the attacking errors that has plagued Georgia State so far.
It's a Georgia State team that comes in this first set, so pretty much keeping right at her average. Bird off the back. Good work there by Russ. It'll be a free ball to the Panthers. Opportunity here. Can Governor take advantage? Not quite. Great defense again by the Noles. Governor again. Kept up by Russ. Philly Mala, was there a touch? Yes, there was on Burt.
A sign of a really good 6th rotation outside is the ability to play cleanup. Florida State is scrambling. They're out of system. Their setter's going to give her a bump set, nice and high. But she has the patience on her approach and the know-how to score in those messy situations.
First kill of the match for Kylene Philly Mala. 4 digs already for her, though. Out of the middle, what a swing that was by Rain. When it's going your way, it's going your way.
And that was Ava Lambert, the freshman, in the right place. There was a lot of heat on that ball. That was an amazing swing. And then it was a good heads-up play, taking advantage of the defense not being set, going over onto, she's a lefty, so that was very comfortable for her.
There's an ace serve on the backside. Kaylin Russ drops in the ace, but going back to Lambert for a second, this is her first action of her Division I career, and she starts it off with the libero kill.
I love that.
Burt turned back to the floor. Emily Harden nearly got the hand underneath it for the pancake, but couldn't quite get it there.
I said it before, but that's one of those things that Georgia State is going to need to emphasize is covering. You've got to get there, you've got to get low, and sometimes you have to cover yourself.
Lazarin takes it on first contact, and there's Rain Williams out of the middle. She's showing off a heck of an arm for somebody who, as you mentioned, Madison, doesn't have a huge volume of kills.
And this is what happens when they're in system. It's a good pass by their libero. They're running her on the gap, and then she found space to score, really rangy, and I love that she's undersized. So impressive.
Filimawa says, I've got a pretty good arm myself.
Filimawa loves those high hands attacks. She attacks really high. She gets underneath it nicely. That one not grabbing any fingertips, but a lot of times when you're playing defense and that ball's coming at your face, it's very difficult to pass.
So 2 kills now for Kylene Filimawa, joining Whalen, Kapia, and Henke as the leading scorers for the Seminoles. Nobody on the floor has scored more than 2 kills so far in this first set.
Talk about balance. Florida State setters are doing a great job at spreading out the offense. At this level, that's something that you've got to get down. That's something that you have to rep out so the opposing defense and block doesn't just camp out on one person.
First service error for the Seminoles, who really had a strong serving showing yesterday against Auburn, and we're going to see some substitutions. Victoria David will check in place of Kylene Filimawa, and Madison, Chris Poole told us coming into this matchup, you just need to get these younger players reps. Here's a chance for David, number 6 in Garnet, to maybe get into the equation. Whalen. And there's another kill for Peyton Whalen. You can just see the confidence building in her, really from having a good showing yesterday.
And that's so cool to see the confidence build so quickly. Love the patience on the approach. That set coming from behind her out of system play because Lily Nicholson dug that ball really well, I might add. But I love the range, just dropping it into that deep corner. And you're right, you can see the confidence in her growing from match to match.
5 kills, 2 blocks yesterday for Peyton. Already 3 kills today. DePino off speed. And that'll be a net fault on the Panthers. Excuse me, a net fault on Florida State.
And that's one of those things, Florida State's played pretty clean so far. You just wash that off, totally excusable, and you get back to it.
Stefania Peitsch. She checked in for the first time in her Division I career against Auburn a couple of days ago. The first time Florida State played Auburn on the Plains. She recorded a kill in that match. She's recorded a kill here tonight. She brings up set point in set 1.
9 freshmen on this Florida State team. That is a crazy stat. She's just one of them, and she's got a bright future.
At least 4 or 5 of them have seen the floor here in this first set. A couple of handfuls of set points for FSU. DePino. Big swing off the right. Good defense by the Noles once again. Second effort off speed. Free ball coming from David. Williams out of the middle.
How you know a player is confident and mature is when they can be aggressive when it's this late, when you're down by 11 and you still take those big rips. That really speaks to her aggression.
Second kill for Rain Williams. Kapia snuck it inside the block, and that'll do it for set number 1. FSU. Maya Ross in the house, one of the many FSU softball standouts over the years. Younger sister Ariel now playing for Chris Poole here in Tallahassee. First swing comes off the right side here in set 2 for Georgia State. It's Nazla Governor, and she gets the Panthers on the board first.
Nazla Governor is leading her team in kills coming into this matchup. She had 87 coming into it. Well, in this first set, she hit in the negative. That's only her second kill. They really need her to get going.
We'll see how that goes for the Panthers. Whalen swipes it off the block to recycle it. And there's DePino tooling that Whalen block for kill number 2 of the set for Georgia State.
I love the way that Georgia State has come out. I feel like Coach Takeda said, listen, we probably need to be aggressive. Like, let's just give them all that we have. We're here. This is a great opportunity. We might as well swing away.
100%. Kelsey Perry checking in for Florida State here in this set. One of just 5 veterans to return to the roster. An attack error adds to the proceedings here early on in set number 2. And speaking of Kelsey Perry, there she is. The attack error was on Peyton Whalen, her first attack error of the match. Still 3 kills on 10 swings for FSU's freshman opposite. Nicholson tight to the net. Philly Maua makes the most of it. Here is Whalen turning it down the line, and that misses wide, so that's a second attack error and a couple of swings for Whalen.
A little bit of a slower start for Whalen, who was leading the team in kills coming into this. It was a nice tempo set. She really wanted to swipe it off the opposing hands of the block, just over-rotated a little too much.
Governor back to serve. Out of the middle, there's Kelsey Perry. There's Milena Torchetti out of the middle for Georgia State. Here's Torchetti with the block as well. 5-0 Panthers right out of the rip in set 2.
Torchetti totally swallowed that ball up. The press was absolutely perfect. Watch her hands pressing over the net, turning that left palm inside to not get tooled. That was perfectly sound block.
The block leader for the Panthers a season ago with 94 has a big one in set 2. DePino off the right, and she's found the back corner. Everything is clicking for Georgia State.
And this is what happens sometimes when a team comes out hot. They're coming out aggressive. Sometimes you can get on your heels a little bit, and Florida State's just playing a little chaotic.
Philly Maua goes off speed. DePino off the block. Yamamoto there. Philly Maua into the block and down. It is a block party for the Panthers to open up set 2.
Georgia State only had 2 blocks in that first set. They are coming out playing really good net defense. Look at the press. So well done, pushing those palms back to area 6.
So 2 blocks in the first 7 points of this second set. Less than ideal first contact there off the service. Torchetti grabbed a hand, point Panthers.
I'd expect a timeout sometime soon. Looks like Coach Poole is trying to get them to figure it out by themselves. Just been a little sloppy in the second set.
And just to circle back to the side-out point we were making before this set began, all of these opportunities are side-out opportunities for Florida State that are going by the wayside, which is why that 100% figure in set 1 was so eye-popping. Finally, the service run comes to an end for Governor, but what a start to set 2 for the Panthers.
I love it. That just shows the fire and the grit that the Panthers have coming in hot in this second set. They were not satisfied with that first set.
Madison, they're already over halfway to what they scored in the first set, and we just got started in the second. And they aren't stopping anytime soon. A 9th point right out of the gates. Kapai with another kill.
Kapai is another one of those players that just needed to heat up in this second set. She had way too many errors in the first, hitting in the negative, but it looks like she's in more of a rhythm now.
Off the backside, there's Whalen. Dug by Martinez, out of system for DePino, and that'll be a stuff block for Kelsey Perry.
Kelsey Perry is listed at 6'4" on her roster, so she is big, she is physical. Watch her eyes, watch her follow the ball. She moves really quick side to side, quick up and press, way to close that block.
Yamamoto misses the sideline. Point Georgia State. Different faces to the floor here for Florida State in set 2. We've already seen Peitsch on the floor, Kelsey Perry. So Chris Poole's spreading the wealth around and letting players figure things out in live action. And they've got a lot of figuring out to do here with respect to set number 2. Olin pops it over. Nice dig. And Capilla puts that ball down at the net.
Watch this dig from Kylene Filimawa, who spent the first 2 years of her career at Florida State in that libero jersey. Now she's playing middle back. She came in nice and shallow because there was a space in that block, so it was a really good read by her to pop that ball up, keep it alive, but that libero position gave her a lot of experience to come in and make a lot of digs.
Came to Florida State, where she was recruited as an outside. Because of an injury to Emery Duke, she became the starting libero, was an all-freshman teamer as a libero, and that is an impressive swing coming back the other way.
Something that head coach Cicada told us before this matchup is that she wants to see her team control what they can control, for them to understand that this is a good opportunity, and when you get the chance to score, take care of it. They've done that in set 2.
Yeah, Kira Burt with another kill, and there's Nanu Capilla net fault here against, it appears Diana Snowpot has checked in.
Capilla loves that gap set. She's got a really good connection with Nellie Stevenson, already hitting 603 kills on 5 attempts, 0 errors. So really good efficiency from her.
Burt off the right. Capilla off speed over the top.
That's something that Florida State needed. Florida State has not won a point in transition. So transition is when the play gets going, you're not serve receiving, it's in transition. They have not been good in that area of the game in this set, so they really needed that one.
And that'll send Stefania Peich back to serve. Govner dug up by Peich. Burt off the right. Out of system for Filimawa. Harden on the run, has to set Govner, and there's Capilla.
Capilla has a super bright future. Middles at Florida State do really well under Coach Chris Poole's training and the rest of his staff. He trains them really disciplined blockers and offensive as well. She's got a really high ceiling.
5 kills on 6 swings now with 3 blocks for Capilla. And a timeout taken by Georgia State. Montgomery has had in a season ever, so finished strong before getting the hire in Atlanta. Lexi Mason off speed over the top and in front of Lazarine.
Lexi Mason was extremely impressive last match against Auburn, and she looks very calm. You can tell she's not a very sporadic player. She's coming in feeling very confident and calm, and I appreciate the versatility from her. Getting Florida State, they're only down by 3 now.
Chris Poole did not call a timeout when things were looking ugly early, letting this young team figure things out on their own. Be problem solvers, be solutions people. And they're still not all the way back yet, but they have made this first set considerably more interesting as Lazarine checks back in to serve. Overpass, put down at the net by Torchetti.
And that's another thing that Georgia State has really amplified in this set is the service pressure. They were giving some lollipops to Florida State, who was punishing the ball in the first set. Well, now they've amped it up and getting Florida State into some trouble.
Mason. Govner. Peich got a hand on it, but knocked it into the stands. It'll be another kill for Govner. And the lead is back up now to 6. Last 3 points have all gone to the Panthers here in set number 2. Stevenson on the run to set Filimawa off the net. Second look for Out of the middle, there's Kapia off speed. Both teams in full-on scramble mode in this rally. And Filimawa just knocks it down.
You see how many times Kylie Filimawa contacts the ball during a play. She makes a huge impact as a 6th rotation outside. And you notice she's also taking a lot of the serve-receive load. She is getting targeted a lot on serve-receive. So as that load continues to build for her, it'll be interesting to see how she adapts and handles it.
Burton pulls it back out of the net. Guvner cross court. What a dig there by Russ. Filimawa, the beneficiary at the net. That's kill number 4 for Kylene. But wow, what great defense by Kaylin Russ.
It's like having a couple liberos out there. Kaylin Russ is not in the libero jersey, but she has experience in that position. She plays like it. She's super quick. That was a great dig.
Bulls have won each of the last 2, now make it 3 points. And the lead is down to 3.
What Florida State is most likely thinking about is chipping away, point by point. You don't need to look at big picture, you just need to think about each contact. Starts with a serve.
Good first contact there by Lazarine. And Georgia State is able to side out and put an end to the 3-0 run.
Torchetti contacts that ball really high. She loves the gap set. That's a majority of what she's been running. You can do the gap set, which gives you a little bit of space between the setter and the attacker, or the one or the slide, but she's been really repping out that gap set, and it's worked well for her.
4 kills on 8 swings now for Milena Torchetti. DePino, positive block touch by the Noles. And there's another kill out of the middle for Milena Torchetti. She only had 1 in the first set. She now has 4 in this one.
And one of the reasons why is because Georgia State's doing a better job at their pass. Look, they're in system and they're able to run through their middle more.
Short serve taken by Russ. And Kylene Filimawa gets it inside those 2 blockers for another kill.
Kylene Filimawa has a whole lot of power and a whole lot of strength. Even when she doesn't have her full approach in front of her, that momentum from the approach, she's still able to gather herself and use all of that power in her swing. If you're not pressed at the right time, she's going to use the block.
All of a sudden, Kylene Filimawa is one of Florida State's leading scorers. We're getting to that point of this set where you can ill afford any mistakes. If you're going to miss, make it an aggressive one, but at this point in time, you just can't afford one to begin with.
It's so true.
Lead back to 5. Tight and put down. Torchetti. And the Panthers are marching ever closer.
It starts with the service pressure. They've done a really good job at amping up that level of their game. If you don't have it, Florida State's going to be in system. But now it causes the overpass, and that's Torchetti's job. Looked like a little bit of a slam dunk. Really well done.
It has been all Georgia State here in this second set. Got off to a huge run, winning the first 8 or so points of this set, and they have not given up the lead since. So if you're tuning in and you're wondering where Georgia State is and what they're all about, they're based in Atlanta, Georgia, founded in 1913, an enrollment of over 52,000 people. Ludacris and Julia Roberts are some of the notable alumni.
That's awesome, and I've been to that campus. I've toured there. I've played there. It's a beautiful campus. They got a lot of great support. It's definitely a growing school, and their athletics just continue to rise, and that's exactly what Flavia Cicada is trying to do with the indoor team. She brings in a whole lot of experience at a really high level. She coached some really high-level teams, and it's obvious she's got this Georgia State team moving in the right direction, starting out the season 7-1, and now winning in the second set.
A lot to like about this Georgia State program that's continuing to gain traction in the Sun Belt and is off to a great start. You mentioned it, 7-1 to start this season, coming in on the strengths of wins at FAMU against McNeese, Evansville, and then they also played FAMU at home in Atlanta. So 4 straight wins before coming in here. Their only loss to Queens in 4 sets. looking to take a set off the Seminoles here in set number 2. Nazla Governor gets us back underway. Reversing the flow to Philly Maua, who was on the right in that rotation. Good decision there by Nicholson, and a great swing by Kylene.
It was a beautiful set. As a setter, you have to have that situational awareness. You have to feel the block and make the right decisions, and that was well done, opening up a one-on-one.
And there's an ace serve for Philly Maua.
You need a couple more of those if you're Florida State. You need another aggressive serve. You need a point in transition, and you've got to just keep chipping away.
6 kills, 5 digs, 2 blocks, now an ace. All in a day's work.
And now Jane Henke is back in the game.
So Henke subs in for Stefania Peich. DePino rolls it to the back corner. Philly Maua couldn't quite get to it, and Georgia State sides out.
Love the vision from DePino. Taking something off of it, seeing the opposing defense, seeing the libero up near that 10-foot line and placing it perfectly.
Some Torchetti back to serve. Henke paints that corner.
Henke is most definitely the go-to for the Seminoles. Good patience on the approach. Love that pass, way to get inside, and then just dropping it right into that deep corner. She contacts it really high and has a nice smooth arm swing.
3rd kill for Jane Henke on 8 swings. Has not played the majority of this set. Chris Poole bringing her off the bench here late. DePino dug up by Yamamoto. Good pursuit by Philly Maua. Free ball coming to Georgia State. Out of the middle, look at Rain Williams.
I love the fact that Georgia State is spreading out their offense so well. They're in system, they're running through their middles, and their middles have been extremely efficient in this second set. 2.71 kills per set coming into this is Rain Williams, second on the team, and she's undersized too, so she uses what she has to her advantage, which is her speed and her athleticism.
The leading blocker, the second leading scorer. Nanu Kapia, meanwhile, continues to roll. She's had an awfully good match. 6 kills on 8 swings, no errors, 3 blocks.
I mean, the consistency and the poise that she has as a freshman, she's been extremely efficient. I think she sees the block really well and is able to attack in the zones that are open.
Lead back down to 4. Stevenson serves. And look at Rain Williams again. It is a lot of fun to watch Rain Williams operate.
In this current set, Georgia State is hitting above 250, so a much better hitting efficiency. They've really limited their errors.
Rain, who in high school played everywhere across the net, outside, middle, and right, looking plenty comfortable in set 2, and an ace serve certainly helps the cause if you're a fan of Georgia State. Kapai drops it in, and Chris Poole calls timeout. Look what they're doing here.
That's a great point. A majority of the game is between your ears. You have to be able to move on. Realize all you can do is control what you can control. Florida State's going to get their kills. Just let them.
So far, so good here in set number 2. The Panthers trying to equalize the match at the intermission. Jane Henke goes off speed. What a stab by Lazarine. Nobody able to put a quality second contact on it, though. It'll be a point for Florida State.
Lazarine is one of those players where when you think the play is over, she just comes flying out of absolutely nowhere. She is so quick.
8 digs from Marta Lazarine, the freshman. One of the best defensive players, statistically speaking, in the country so far. What a swing, a heavy one at that by Governor.
One of the things that Coach Takeda told us that Governor is working on is when the block is there and the block is set, being craftier, showing some versatility. She said she loves to crank it right straight down, but can you be better when the block is semi-closed? And she did that well.
Mason off speed over the block, picked up, and then similar to what I said earlier, there's certain plays where you just got to play the ball, and it's these miscommunications that I have to imagine, Madison, early in the season, you got to iron some things out.
Absolutely. You're going to see the miscommunications earlier on, and you're right, those will get ironed out. Volleyball is a huge sport of communication, and a lot of times she'll just say, you got it, and the other one will say, you got it, and just goes back and forth like that till the ball drops.
Lexi Mason will take it. It's a kill for the freshman, number 26 in Garnet. Running the big Henke, caught the tape. Burt off speed, swatted back by Delaney Ewing. Filimawa off speed over the top of the block. Good first ball there by Henke. Mason on the cross. Out of system for Kylene Filimawa. Dug up by Lazarine. Harden on the run. Govner, no hands by Florida State, no touch. And that is a point to the Noles, a gritty rally.
I got to give a lot of credit to Georgia State's defense. Florida State was in system a lot during that rally, but Georgia State was just gritty, keeping the ball alive. Really well done, but then just a timely error. They still have some room, but you want to close it out here.
4-point lead, 2 points away from the set for Georgia State. Russ with the back bump to Filimawa, dug up by Lazarine. Harden with the out of system. And no touch is the call. And timeout coming from Georgia State.
It's a really smart timeout. Sometimes you just need to take a beat.
Florida State, they haven't been absurdly error prone. It's just they got stuck in that rotation early and it killed them.
Exactly. That was a long rotation to get stuck in.
Govner. Every time the Noles have gone on a run, the Panthers have authored a response, and Govner brings up a handful of set points.
What I love about that was the block was in front of her. They were set, but she's got a whole lot of height on her attack, and she's able to swing up over them and then combine that with range.
Chanel Martinez back to serve. Ewing put that ball down in a hurry. Good offense by the Noles.
This is when the Seminoles, or any team regardless, is at their best. When the pass is up to the net, you have the ability to run through your middles. Your middles are always your most efficient attackers. Historically, they're your most efficient attackers. So it starts with that pass that was beautifully executed.
Nicholson checks in to serve. Still set point for Georgia State, only a side out away. Taken over on two. Nicholson tried to get to it, but to no avail. The Panthers get us underway once more. Best 3 out of 5 to win the match. This set goes to 25, win by 2. And that is a good, positive start for the Noles, who never led in set 2. Janne Henke jumping on the board first.
And what I like about that set is it was designed to be a little bit more inside. So Janne Henke sets up outside, but then she crashes into the ball. The block is not fronting her, and she's able to score.
Mio Yamamoto checks in to serve. Good initial pass and a nice swing out at the pin as well for Georgia State, and it's Milena Torchetti once more.
Torchetti has really come alive after that first set. She's powering through the block. If you're not pressed at the right time, you're going to get used.
And Torchetti as a middle is scoring from all over the net. From the middle, yes, and also from a pin. There she is in the middle, giving it a shove. Joust at the net, and Janne Henke wins it.
And to your point on that, that is extremely rare. I've watched a lot of volleyball. Torchetti playing in the middle and also playing on the outside. Those are two completely different approaches, two completely different positions. That's really impressive that she can do both. But Janne Henke finishing off the play with a power tip. She's got a whole lot of power in that arm.
She has both of the Noles' first 2 points here in this third set. Govner takes it on first contact out of the middle. There's Torchetti again. It is the Henke and Torchetti show in set 3.
Total change of direction on that attack as well. Not even facing where she's attacking, but dropping that thumb and driving it, swinging down her body and through.
Milena, the leading scorer on the floor. 8 kills on 15 swings, hitting 400. Speed by Henke. And misdirection off the tip for Rain Williams. And Williams has yet another kill. That'll be her 5th.
You got to give some credit to Chanel Martinez, number 18 for Georgia State, the setter, doing a great job even off the net, finding her middles, running her offense through the middle, and in a whole lot of variety of ways.
Williams has recorded up to 7 kills in a match this season, quickly coming up on that mark here in set 3 with at least a 4th to play. Net fault against Georgia State. Point back to the Seminoles. It'll go. I didn't catch the number that they were signaling.
I'm not sure either, but we haven't had many net faults. So it's been a pretty clean game so far. We haven't seen a lot of those calls.
Down the line, but wide. Alessia Kapai.
With that swing, if you're over-rotating on your attack, or if you're not opening enough to your setter, it's a lot easier when you're swinging down the line to over-rotate and hit out.
4-3 FSU. DePino is the hot hand early for the Panthers. Feels like if they're going to sustain the momentum that they built earlier in this match, they're going to have to make sure that she stays going.
Most definitely. You don't want to give her too much of a break. Look at the height on that jump. I talk about it every single time. She's got an incredible vertical. That was her 7th kill, hitting above 250. Only 2 errors, so playing a clean game.
Hitting nearly 300 now as Henke goes off speed from the back row. High reach there for Lexi Mason. And Rain Williams was turned back by the block. The new Kapia and Mason were ready.
Something I noted from their last match is Mason is just a freshman, is really good at setting the block. Even when they're coming in to set the middle, she does a really good job at getting there, being in the right place. And then you combine that with the physicality of Kapia, they're very difficult to get past.
3 blocks for Mason, 4 for Kapia so far in this match. That's a good swing by Burt right through the seam.
Bird is 2nd on the team in kills. She's another one of those undersized attackers, only 5'10", but when you have the athleticism and the speed and the range that she has, you can find a variety of ways to score.
She's operating this year on a career best hit percentage at 282 coming into the match. Out of the middle, there's Rain Williams. Kill number 6 on 10 swings.
Emily Harden, the setter in right now for Georgia State. They're running a 6-2. She really had to force that set through the middle. That was so impressive. Total change of direction and found the arm of her attacker really well.
10 assists, 10 digs for Emily Harden, her 2nd consecutive double-double.
It's a really smart shot by Lexi Mason. She's a lefty. She's got a lot of range and ball control. And for a freshman, she's got a really big toolbox. That block was set in front of her, but she's very smart, so she knew she needed to tip it off the hands.
The Mason kill, it's 6-all here in this 3rd set. Winner of it takes a 2-1 lead in the match. Out of the middle, there's Delaney Ewing. Burt ran out of room. We'll get a challenge here from Flavia Cicada.
Georgia State is challenging that the ball was in.
And that's what I was wondering, Madison. A couple of things were pretty tight there. Was there a net fault or was there an issue with the antenna? And so because they're challenging whether or not the ball was in or out, that tells me we're looking at an antenna issue.
Exactly, and I think initially the referee thought that the ball hit the antenna, and Georgia State is convinced. Coach Cicada, I think she saw a pretty good view of it, doesn't think that the ball hit the antenna. It's our first challenge.
First challenge of the match in set number 3. We had multiple in set number 1 yesterday. Each of these teams gets 2 challenges to start the match. And, you know, if you're correct in your challenges, Madison, you essentially have an unlimited supply of them, right? Because if you do find one of the rare occasions where, hey, we just didn't see it correctly on the floor, then you get your challenge back because you were correct. And so, as I mentioned, each team begins the match with 2 challenges. If that original call is reversed, which means you win your challenge, then you get the challenge back. If the original call on the floor is upheld, which means, hey, you thought that there was something there, but you were wrong and they were correct to begin with the original call, you do lose that challenge. If you get to a 5th set, you get 1 back. You're never to exceed 2.
After review, the call is going to be reversed. It will be a replay. Georgia State retains their challenge.
And that's Troya Teeter confirming that the call is going to be reversed. So that is a successful challenge. The challenge goes back to Georgia State, and I think the call to go to a replay is the right one. Otherwise, you know, if you give Georgia State the point and take it away from Florida State, you're communicating that you think the rally would have ended. It wouldn't have.
Exactly. It's not fair to Florida State. I did have a view of the replay system, and that ball was close to the antenna, but it didn't touch it by just a centimeter.
So good challenge, good call, good decision to go with the replay instead of just flip-flopping the points. And a system off the back bump by Yamamoto to Philly Maua. And in the middle, Rain Williams off the top of the block. Burt stopped.
Kylie Filamaua has a whole lot of press in her block. You can see it when you're watching it. It's a full body press, almost like a crunch, using all of your body to force over the net. You got to be invasive, and she's extremely invasive on the block.
Third block for Kylie Filamaua, 8th for Florida State as a team. Burt set off the net. Whalen goes down the line. Lazarine, another tremendous dig. Really wasn't much on that ball. You would have liked to have seen better first contact there from Florida State. And now a tool by Burt for the side out.
You read my mind, Sean. That's one of those balls where if you just take your time, really work on lifting that pass up to the net rather than rushing it, that's got to be an in-system pass.
So off the miscues there by Florida State, both on the pass and on the block. We're tied up at 7. Filamaua off the right in that rotation. Guvner goes high off the block and out. So 2 straight tools in the Panthers lead.
Love the fight from the Panthers. The Florida State block was up and set, but sometimes when you don't have the right angle of your hands into the court, you're going to get tooled.
Better pass, and Ewing puts it away.
Ewing's got some power. She loves those quick sets. That was on the one, so she was a little bit closer to the setter, but really good attack. Caught the libero for Georgia State a little high. She still managed to kind of get it up, but with all that power, just ricocheted off her body.
3 kills on 5 swings for Ewing, 1 error, so hitting .400. And there's an ace serve. Second ace of the match for Kylie Filamaua.
And that's a difficult serve to pass because a float serve moves and ebbs and dips so much from the time you contact it to the time it gets to the serve receive.
Just caught the top of the tape, traded the ace for the error, did Kylie. We're knotted up once more.
You go for the 1-to-1 ratio, 1 missed serve to 1 ace. That's your sweet spot where you would like to have it if you're a coach. Right now, Florida State's 4 service errors, 5, it just updated, and 4 aces, so still not bad.
Martinez back to serve, that's a misconnection. Ewing more or less would have had to have lifted that ball to get it over the net.
Yeah, either Ewing was a little too early or that set was a little too low, but nonetheless, that rhythm, that misconnection is what caused that.
10-9 Panthers, good cover there by Yamamoto. Huge block. Ewing and Whalen.
Beautiful block, so technically sound. They did every little thing right there, and it all starts with the pass too. Yamamoto doing a wonderful job at all the little things. Beautiful pass, but it ends with this block. Ewing getting there and closing, but then Whalen set herself up. That set was a little inside. She was perfectly placed to set up that block.
4th block for Ewing. 2 blocks for Whalen. And Yamamoto will go back to serve once more.
I'm high on Yamamoto behind the service line.
Yeah.
She does a really good job.
We've seen her drop in now several aces in these 2 matches alone. She came into this weekend as one of the Noles' best servers and certainly bolstering that case so far. Continuing to induces the free ball. Good work there by Lazarine. It's still another free ball, though, for Florida State. Even quicker to Capilla, and that one goes into the stands.
Absolutely incredible. Kapia has so much range. So on that first attack, she got down on it. That ball was sharp and down. This one, she took something off of it, a nice long stroke to that deep corner. Just the range that she plays with as a freshman, rather than just drilling balls right in front of her face over and over again, she plays with a lot of range. It's really impressive.
And that possession alone, Florida State transitioning quicker and back here in Tallahassee, Florida State leading it by 2 over Georgia State. 3-0 over the last 3 points for the Seminoles. Yamamoto on a good service run will serve once more. Tight to the net. Henke makes the most of it. Torchetti with an acrobatic send over the net. Oh boy, what another tremendous dig by Lazarine. DePino almost ran out of room. Boy, both of these teams are scrambling for their lives in this rally. Great job there by Chanel Martinez just to try to get a play on the ball, but that came in outside the antenna. So I think fortuitously for both of these teams, that rally came to an end.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I mean, the defense by Lazarine just continues to impress. She is so scrappy back there, really extending plays for her team.
17 digs now.
Wow.
For Marta Lazarine. Martinez called her own number. Didn't hate the idea there. It's a different look for sure. Lily Nicholson, to her credit, was ready for it.
That'll be a double contact on number 3, who sent it over. Alessia Kapai. You can double contact it on the second ball as long as it doesn't go over the net. They changed the rules on that one, but third ball contact, we cannot double. That ball had way too much spin on it.
So the lead is up to 4. Florida State's won each of the last 5 points. Georgia State still has a timeout at their disposal. Don't think they'll call it yet, but they want to see their team figured out quicker or sooner rather than later. Lazarine plays it up to the net. DePino misdirects. Kapia puts it down in front of Lazarine.
Kapia is leading her team in kills. You love it when you see a middle leading the team in kills. She's got 9, 0 errors, 12 attempts, hitting .750. Incredibly athletic freshman who's just performing at such a high clip.
4 blocks as well for Nanu Kapia. 11 kills yesterday against Auburn. Had a handful of blocks in that one. And speaking of blocks, there's another one for the Seminoles. Madison, I have been particularly impressed by how well the Noles have manned the net these last couple of days.
I have too, and you can tell they're very technically sound. But he watched how she played and he thought, wow, this girl's athletic, I should look into her. And so it's almost by chance, almost by happenstance that she got on his radar. And wow, what a get. You know he's happy that he was at that court at that time.
And she certainly, in the first few weeks of her first year, looks like she has all the potential in the world to perhaps be the next great one in a program that has churned out All-American middle blocker after All-American middle blocker. Torchetti. It's another kill for her. And each of these 2 middle blockers have really led the way for their respective teams. Elena now with kill number 9 on 19 swings, also hitting north of 300, nearly 400 in fact.
It's such an asset to this team to have Torchetti, who's playing in the middle, playing on the outside. That's such a versatility player that you just don't ever see.
This connection there for the Noles. Maryland just underhands it over. And there is DePino off the right.
Georgia State does not back down. In transition, when they're getting the opportunity, they're hitting at a really high clip and they're staying aggressive, which is really important when the other team's ahead.
Timeout Florida State, and that's an important swing off the right for Maria's. Winner of this set takes a 2-set-to-1 lead. Loser of this set must win the 4th to force a 5th. If we get to a 5th, it'll be 1st to 15, win by 2. Here's Courtney Smith, Played every year of her collegiate career until this year on the sand. Now checking in indoors and serving for the Panthers. No call yet, but that's an attack error on the Seminoles.
And you'll notice Georgia State, they are targeting the outsides for Florida State. So Jane Henke is in the front row, so they're going to target her. And why you do that is because you want to take that outside out of the offense. Sometimes when you pass the ball, you're a little off balance. It doesn't allow you to have your full approach, and it takes you out of the offense.
Looked like Chris Poole there was considering a challenge, and Jane Henke called him off on it. Player knows best whether or not there was a touch. Henke, meanwhile, goes back to work offensively, and that'll be another kill for Jane.
Jane's a really smart player. So there, she didn't have her full approach. It was an out-of-system set. She was a little bit inside, so she took something off of it. Nice long stroke to the deep corner. 6 kills for Jane Henke, 7 now. A little bit of a quieter night, but still making such an impact. Second leading scorer for the Seminoles. Has scored 15 or more kills in each of the last 6 matches, Jane Henke. Here's Tapino. And that fell inside the sideline, so instead of a tool, that will be a block for Jane. And that right there is because Jane was so technically sound in her block. That left hand of hers, that left pinky was turned inside, facing inside the court, so she wasn't able to be tooled.
Service error by Nellie Stevenson. So Milena Torchetti back to serve. And sometimes those service errors, Madison, they can be contagious.
They definitely are, and it's funny. It's because you're thinking about it. Serving is between the ears. At this point, everyone can serve. Everyone can do it well, but behind the service line is 100% mental.
So the lead ping-ponging back between 4 and 5. Jane Henke steps back. And Williams gives it a power tip out of the middle. And Philly Mallow tried to turn that one down the line. No touch by the Panthers. That is an attack error on Kylene.
Just an over-rotation on that attack. Something that I do love from Georgia State is they are forcing the middle. Chanel Martinez, the setter that just came off the court, even though she was off the net around the 10-foot line, she still managed to set that gap set and kept them in rhythm.
18 assists for Martinez, 13 for Emily Harden, who was serving number 4 in white, now setting the pin and pulling it back out on first contact. Out of system for Burt, hovering on top of the net. Philly Mallow got there first. It's a free ball now to Florida State. Capilla hunting the sideline. That is kill number 10 on 15 swings.
As a middle, you want that ball so bad. It's a free ball. You're thinking, all right, this is ours. We got this beautiful tight pass, which was great because it allowed the setter to get up, set. She loves that gap set. Nice tight set. Blocker not in front of her. That ball goes straight down.
First into double figures on the floor for either side. Delaney Ewing tried to dig that ball out of the net and dug it into her bench.
Really nice swing from Kapai. Powering through the block, wasn't set, just a little late. Kapai, that's only her 3rd kill, still hitting in the negative.
Yeah, 3 kills, 5 errors for Alessia Kapai and Lexi Mason. That's a smart shot. That back corner was wide open.
And she's got a roundhouse swing, and something that you see from Mason a lot is her vision and her toolbox. She's got a lot of range, and she uses it at the right time. Nice reverse of flow, and then beautifully placed right in between areas 5 and 6.
5 kills on 10 swings, no errors for Lexi Mason off the right. Harden back to the middle and Rain Williams. Boy, you mentioned it, Madison. They are intentionally going to the middle over and over and over.
They are forcing it. And that's such an athletic shot. That ball is crossing over her body. That ball is going to her left shoulder, but she got it at the right time.
7 kills now for Rain Williams. That'll equal her season high. Service error on the backside of it, so the lead back now to 5 for Florida State. Lazarine ranges back on second contact, and into the net it goes for Courtney Smith.
They're overloading the serves on Courtney Smith. Almost every single serve has been at her when she's been in the front row.
Smith, who checked in just recently in this set, getting her work in a lot here, courtesy of the Seminoles.
Credit to Emily Harden on that one, the setter, number 4, forcing through the middle. That's obviously a system that they're running. They're trying to run their offense through the middle, and their middles have been extremely efficient.
Crowd getting involved with the Noles within 2 points of winning the third. The Noles are within 1 point of winning the third. Jane Henke sharp.
And that pass was so beautiful. Her platform was angled into the court. She kept her shoulders down, so it was a nice low pass. Then they run her on that tempo set. The block is a little late to close, and Jane Henke punishes it.
Noles by 6, handful of set points coming. Yamamoto serves. Torchetti. And that is a stuff block. She was targeting the high hands, but it's Peyton Whalen who says no.
Such an asset to the team to have the middle be as dynamic, as explosive as a Corey Lewis or as a Capilla.
Back underway here in set number 4. Must-win set for Georgia State. And Delaney Ewing gets the first say here, putting it down for an opening kill.
Ewing does a lot of work in transitions. Something that you don't see as much because you're watching the play unfold is the transition for the middles to get off the net, back to have their approach. Really impressive.
What a tough serve, and another ace for Florida State. Kylene Filimawa with her third of the match.
Kylene Filimawa has such a great flat float serve. It gets the opposing serve receive line in a whole lot of trouble because they're not able to get their platform underneath it. Ooh.
Another ace for Kylene Filimawa.
Just as I was saying it, from that left side of the court all the way to the right, perfectly in between areas 5 and 6. You got to communicate early as that serve receive line.
4 aces today. Now she goes back short. Torchetti turned back, and that is out of play. She'll get credited for the tool.
Ewing just turned a little too far outside, wasn't pressed over the net. You could see her palms kind of facing out of the court, and that's why that happened.
Georgia State on the board here in set number 4. Off the D-ball, look to Filimawa. The outside hitter who has played off the right puts that ball away. That is the first time we've seen that look this weekend.
You read my mind. That's the first time we've seen the D-ball. She's so dynamic from every area of the court. So she's such an asset for this team because she's played in every single position. You can run her back row, right side, D-ball really well.
What a swing, what a set by Nicholson. It's a nice set as well to the backside. Torchetti finds the floor. And Chris Poole thinks that that ball was still up.
Couldn't find the challenge card. Now he has it. I did see Yamamoto point to her fingers and say, "This is where I got it." Seems like she thinks she got it.
Florida State is challenging that the ball was up.
So as we suspected, right off of that pancake attempt and the play being blown dead, everybody on the FSU bench jumped off of their chairs. Could have felt that that challenge was coming, and so we'll see what we find here in this review sequence.
From this angle, it does look like she got it up. And sometimes you can tell also with the angle that the ball goes after you touch it, it does look like it got the right side of her hand, which angles it upward. I think she thinks she got it up too.
Yamamoto, who is plenty familiar with the Panthers, played in the Sun Belt herself when she was a Louisiana Raging Cajun. Averaged about 5 digs a set a season ago. Hasn't quite had that same volume this year, but she equaled it yesterday when she had 20 digs against the Auburn Tigers in a 4-setter. That is what she is capable of, and she is also capable of applying a lot of service pressure. I like that pickup for Florida State.
Most definitely. I mean, last season in 2024, ranked in the top 25 nationally in digs per set. She does all of the little things right, and then that's what you want out of your libero. You think the ball is going to go down, and then she flies out of nowhere, laying out for that ball. You got to have that kind of gritty mentality to be a libero at this level, and she has it.
Looking up at the video board, watching the review herself, watching her own handiwork, maybe admiring it just a little bit. Two-time All-Sun Belt first teamer.
After review, the call is going to be reversed. Result will be a replay.
And because the rally could have continued, much like we saw a set or so ago, we're going to go ahead and replay the point.
Give her the dig. She worked for it.
Yeah.
That's pancake precision. If you're a young libero, take note of the extension of her arm, where her hand is placed, following that ball all the way into the pancake.
So take the point off the board for Georgia State because they didn't flip-flop the points. No adjustment to the Seminoles. There's another block for Peyton Whalen.
You have to be really patient on the block there because the pass was off. It was a bump set, pin to pin. Whalen did a really good job at waiting, tracking, and then rising up to press. Career high, 5 blocks for her for the freshman.
Set a career high in kills yesterday against Auburn. Career high in blocks today. Torchetti's lobbying for a touch. She won't get the call. He's curious to see if Flavia Cicada chooses to challenge. Doesn't look like she's going to. Instead, she'll just call timeout. A must-win 4th set for the Panthers, but the Seminoles have won 6 of the first 7 points. Back to serve once more. The senior from Chigasaki, Japan, who previously played at the University of Louisiana. 27 aces back in 2023, 18 more in 2024, and already north of 10 again here in 2025. Tapino out of the middle off the combination look, missed the hands. That's another point to Florida State.
Yeah, they were running Tapino there on the 2 ball, so a little bit higher set, not as tempo through the middle. She looks like she just contacted it a little too low and didn't get on top of it enough.
I mentioned those aces for Yamamoto. She's going to tack another one on.
Sometimes that short serve, the ace there just feels a lot better because it's harder to nail such a precise serve like that. There's more room for error, but she did so really well.
13 aces now on the season, 2 tonight for Mio Yamamoto. And that's an overpass, and Henke knows exactly what to do with it.
Florida State's in a rhythm right now, and Georgia State knows it. So they're playing a little bit more scattered. The passing hasn't been where it needs to be or where it was in set 2, and that's just Henke taking care of the ball, doing exactly what she needs to do, and not netting at the same time.
Florida State's only taken 3 swings. They've got 9 points in this set. Power tip from Akira Burt.
Love a good power tip. That is the sign of an experienced player. She saw the gap in the block, middle blocker a little late to close, and instead of striking it through with the swing, she just took care of it, opened up her hand, and tipped it straight down.
Kill number 6 for Akira, who came into today with 10 or more kills in half of Georgia State's previous 8 matches. Free ball here to the Panthers. Rain Williams kept alive by Yane Henke, and Henke will give it a shove. Williams again, this time directing to the sideline, missed it wide. Point Seminoles.
Looks like we're going to have a challenge, too. Williams really thought there was a touch on that block.
So Joya Cheater will come back to the monitor and confirm.
Georgia State is challenging touch.
So back to the monitor we go. Six to 1 the scoring run for Florida State, opening up an 8-point lead as it stands here in this set. And Madison, I think you're all over it. You know, regardless of the outcome of this challenge, that first ball contact has got to clean up for Georgia State, because, I mean, I don't want to say Florida State's not working for it, right? They're putting in good work. They're working hard collectively as a team. But when you've got 10 points and you've only swung at the ball 4 times, you really can't have that, especially when you're the team trailing 2-1.
Exactly. When you look at the stat sheet, Florida State's hitting 750, 3 kills, 4 attempts. That's not a whole lot of attempts. Yes, they've been efficient when they had it, but that's Georgia State just beating themselves right now.
The Panthers hitting negative 250 so far. We'll take a look.
From my vantage point, I didn't see it at first. You're looking for the finger bending back just a little bit. That set was a little too far outside her body. It was crossing over to her left shoulder, so she contacted it as quick as she could, tried to grab the high hands. That's a close one, though.
Both these teams have opted to challenge a couple of times throughout the course of this match to mixed results.
Upon review, the call is going to be reversed. There was a touch on Florida State. Georgia State will retain their challenge.
And so it is determined by Joya Teeter that there was a touch. And after watching the replay, if there was a touch, which there was determined to be one, you're looking probably at the middle finger on the right hand of Peyton Whalen.
It's another one of those instances where I just feel like I don't have the eyes to be a ref. I'm really glad they do what they do, because I've gotten it wrong almost every time I've guessed.
I'll stick to the day job.
Yeah.
Off 1 foot, there's Capilla.
Love to see Capilla on the slide behind the setter off of 1 foot. She's just as good behind the setter as she is in front, but they don't have as much of an opportunity to run the slide because they run a 6-2, so you've got to do a little combination play. We've seen her on the gap set, really efficient there. But you know, she has a fun time running that slide every now and then.
I have a fun time watching her run the slide. Haven't seen it a lot, but it's looked good once she's done it. Service error there by the Seminoles. Nellie Stevenson committing the service error. Transfer into the program from Montana State. Helped lead the Bobcats all the way to the conference final before coming to Tallahassee. Back set once again to Capilla off 1 foot.
I love it. Get her the reps. Also, the first ball contact from Kylene Filamawa is really locked in right now. Her platform was perfect. She passed that ball outside of her body, but got the pass all the way to the net, and then that gives you the ability to run the slide.
Yeah, it's a day where you're not seeing the gaudy numbers that Kylene Filamawa can put up, but she's got a little bit of everything for her night's work. 7 kills, 4 aces, 5 digs, 3 blocks. Looking for an out-of-system assist, though. Capilla says, I don't care who sets me as long as I can keep putting balls away like that. Nice connection between Stevenson and Capilla, who's got a new career-high 13.
I feel like she's competing to be possibly the ACC Offensive Player of the Week. The stat line for her is insane. Hitting around 700. I mean, the efficiency is incredible.
722 with 7 blocks. Why not? Burt, dug by Henke. Off the backside, there's Mason. Burt will try again and put it down.
Good aggressive swing from Burt, who was very calm in transition. Watch the approach, a little inside, but the block either set up a little too far outside, middle blocker not there to close, and she took advantage of about that 1 foot of space.
7 kills for Akira Burt, number 14 in white. She goes back to serve. That is tight. Good decision there by Stevenson, letting it carom off the net and recollecting. Capilla. Dug up and over by Philly Maua. Another look for Kapai.
Kapai is one of those players that really has the ability to make such an impact because she plays those 6 rotations, just a little bit slower of a start today. That's only her 4th kill, but that comes up big. Georgia State needs to get into a rhythm.
Off the pick. There's Yane Henke. We saw Florida State run the back row more often against Auburn than they have tonight, but the few times they've done so tonight, it's looked pretty good.
Yeah, both Kylene Filamaua and Yane Henke look very confident in that middle back position, running the bick or a little bit higher through the pipe. They've done a good job of it when they run it.
Tack on an ace serve as well. Kaylin Russ now with multiple aces tonight.
Kaylin Russ is another one of those players, another one of those liberos that can just go back to the end line and really make an impact.
Russ, who came out of high school as one of the top 5 libero prospects in the state of Florida, played in 6 sets a season ago, has already more than doubled that here in 2025 and has made the most of her opportunities early. A lot of her work seems to come on serve receive as well as in those service rotations, but she has looked good, number 11 in Garnet. High reach there for Delaney Ewing. She'll say, I'll take it.
And it's really difficult if you're Georgia State to know who to serve. Florida State technically in that rotation had 3 liberos in the back row if you count Kylene Filamaua as a libero, which you can because she's played it. So the passing in that rotation is really good, which allowed them to run through their middle. You can see Coach Poole coaching up his middle and Ewing.
Nicholson will now head back to serve. And will set the next 3 rotations for Florida State. That is wide. Panthers hanging on to that fine thread as we approach the midway point. Must-win set for Georgia State. Trailing by 7. Big FSU run early. They've weathered that storm. Now Flavia Cicada would like to see her team trim into this lead a little bit more. That'll help. Florida State's out of system.
That serve was very flat. If you look at the antennas, there's red, white, red, white, red, white. That was right below the second red. Hey, good job from our camera crew. Really impressive. So that was a really flat serve that just barely made it over the net.
Nice job there by Russ on serve receive, but a really impressive block at the net by Torchetti.
And this is exactly what Georgia State needs to do. They need to get some points in transition. They need to get some points on their block because Florida State's been rolling in this set. It's been Torchetti leading in the blocks with 4.
And it's Martinez, who is their ace leader, that has been able to get the Noles scrambling on serve receive. She'd been able to dial up the service pressure, had Chanel, but that rotation comes to an end.
I love how much Florida State runs through their middles when they're in system. That was Ewing's 6th kill, hitting around 404 blocks, so she makes a big impact.
DePino off the right. Florida State got their hands down in time. No touch point. Noles 7-point lead approaching the red zone. Kapai, that's another attack error. And Madison, you've mentioned a couple of times tonight, and it's not just Kapai, but it's also Nazla Guvner, both of the left pins hitting in the negative.
Exactly, and that's something your left pins are going to get all of the sets, or majority of the sets. They're your go-to, so you need them to be in the positive and handle that load.
Torchetti and Rain Williams have been impressive out of the middle. Williams hitting 400 with a season-high 8 kills. Torchetti with that one now an 11th kill for her, hitting nearly 300. Make it 12 kills, hitting above 300 now at 333.
And that's also a testament to their setters, forcing through the middle even when they're off the net.
Both of these teams have featured the middle attack often tonight. Right on cue, there's Henke off the pin. And Torchetti takes another swing out of the middle.
It was an amazing dig by Marta Lazarin. I thought that ball was going to go down, but no, she scooped it up, got her platform underneath it.
Tonight for sure. Again, if you're just joining us, both of the outsides for Georgia State have been hitting in the negative, so they've been going through the middle a lot. Both of their middle attackers have been terrific. But Florida State has responded with strong work out of the middle, really taking a lot of pressure off of Yane Henke and Kylene Filimawa, who have been good, but have not had to carry so much of the offensive load tonight. Akira Burt takes a crack from the pin, and there is Henke. Hasn't had to have her name called a ton, but still has 11 kills.
You got to be super quick to get off the ground. Look how fast she is off the ground. Even in slow-mo, it was quick. And then you got to get on top of that ball, but that all comes from the speed, and Henke has it.
11 kills, 9 digs, hitting .310. What a start to the season for Yane Henke. Kapia already has a new season in career high in kills, was looking for another one. And that ball rolled off the top of the block. Peyton Whalen was up there. Nobody behind her, though, to cover.
And that's why that off-speed shot works sometimes, because you're contacting it later. It's a bit slower of an attack, so usually the block is early. So the block was on their way down, couldn't get as effective as a block touch as you would want it.
8th kill for Akira Burt, tying Rain Williams as the second leading scorer. Maria Cecilia DePino also actually has 8 kills for the Panthers. Milena Torchetti, the leading scorer, with 12. The leading player on the floor for either side has been Nanu Kapia with 13 kills on 21 swings, no errors, 7 blocks. Looks like we're getting an explanation here from Joya Teeter to Chris Poole. Addison, any idea what this conversation's about?
No, I would love to know. It was going very smooth. Maybe something to do with the rotations, amount of subs. Maybe there was a question by Coach Takeda.
All right, well, we're good to go. No change to the scoreboard, no change to the personnel on the floor. Torchetti gets us back underway. Noles in the red zone in this 4th set, off 1 foot. The new Kapia dug out by DePino. Off the pick, holy cow! What a swing!
Absolute dynamite of a swing. It's coming at you so fast. Sometimes you don't even have the chance to throw up your hands, get your platform there. What a powerful swing. That's one of the reasons why she's so difficult to dig, the speed that that ball is coming at you.
And a great set by Nicholson as well, in the perfect location for Kylene Filimawa to do that. Rain Williams hunting the sideline, just missed it. Had an opening over there, but did air wide. (22-12), Florida State. Stevenson serves once more. Burt with the power tip. It'll be a free ball opportunity here for Georgia State. DePino with another kill. Kill number 9 for Maria Cecilia.
That was a tempo set, so DePino really had to speed up her approach to get on top of the ball, but because it was a tempo set, the block was late. That's one of the reasons why you run that quick of an offense, to try and beat the block to your position.
Both within 3 points of the match. Emily Harden back to serve, already a double-double tonight for the freshman. Off 1 foot, there's Kapia, dug up by Harden. Traffic jam for Florida State, and a block at the net for Burt and Williams.
One of the reasons why Florida State was a little out of system there, because they were having Kapia run the slide, so Lexi Mason was staying on that left side of the court. The blockers weren't really in their positions to continue the rally to keep it clean.
Off the combination, Henke in the middle.
I love it. All of the Florida State offenses, each player is not playing in their usual position where they play in transition. You've got Henke on the 2 ball coming in, and then you've got Kapia on the slide And then Lexi Mason on the outside. That is really difficult as a blocker to track everything that's going on.
And Madison, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like over these 2 matches, I've seen more combination work by Florida State than I have in some time.
I agree. I was thinking the same thing. They're running more plays. I like the schemes as opposed to last year. It's a little bit more complex.
Burt looking for high hands, won't get the call, and that'll bring up a bunch of match points for Florida State.
Georgia State with 8 errors in this set. Florida State with only 2, hitting .455, so just a little cleaner from the Noles.
David, the freshman from Rio de Janeiro, serves once more, hunting the sideline. It's wide. So a momentary side out for Georgia State, but the Noles themselves 1 side out away from their second 4-set win here. Not this weekend because it's a Sunday and a Monday, but second consecutive 4-setter nonetheless. Guvner serves. Lambert on in first contact. Mason swats it over. At a system ball dug by Lambert. Stevenson runs out of room.
You got to appreciate the fight from the Panthers throughout the entirety of this match. No matter how much they've been down or up, they have never stopped being aggressive.
5th kill of the match for Kapai. Another match point for the Noles. Free ball back to Georgia State. Kapai is roofed, and that is it. Block number 8 for Nanu Kapia. A career day all around for the freshman